Welcome back to History of Simple Things. Today's topic comes from one of our viewers, at Jason Juliton. Thanks for the suggestion. You asked, why was oatmeal once considered a luxury? It's hard to imagine, but at one point in history, oats weren't the cheap and common breakfast food we know today. Instead, they were a prized commodity, sometimes even a symbol of wealth. So how did oats go from an expensive indulgence to an everyday staple? Stick around as we uncover the surprising history of oats, right here, on History of Simple Things. Oats have been around for thousands of years, but for a long time they weren't exactly the crop of choice. Wheat and barley were the rock stars of the grain world, used for making bread and beer, while oats? They were more like the scruffy, unwanted cousin. Many early civilizations considered oats a weed rather than a valuable crop. It wasn't until around 2000 BCE that people in parts of Europe, especially in what is now Scotland, Ireland, and Germany, realized oats were not only edible but also quite nutritious. The Celts were among the first to truly embrace oats, using them to make porridge and oatcakes, which became dietary staples. But here's the thing, oats weren't easy to grow just anywhere. Unlike wheat, which thrived in drier climates, oats needed cool, damp conditions. That made them perfect for Northern Europe, but much harder to cultivate elsewhere. This limited supply meant that in some parts of the world, oats were rare and expensive. Interestingly, while oats were treasured in some places, they were looked down upon in others. The Romans, for example, saw oats as animal feed and thought eating them was a bit barbaric. Even centuries later, oats were often associated with the poor or rural communities, but in certain periods, this humble grain became unexpectedly pricey. So when exactly did oats become a luxury? The 18th and 19th centuries saw a shift, particularly in industrializing cities. As populations grew, so did the demand for grains like wheat, which were easier to process and store for mass consumption. Oats, on the other hand, required more manual labor to hull and process. This made them more expensive in urban centers, where demand outstripped supply. In colonial America, oats were both a necessity and a status symbol. Wealthier landowners often had the means to grow and process their own oats, while lower-income families struggled to afford them. At certain points, imported oats from Europe were so expensive that only the rich could regularly consume them. In fact, oat-based dishes were sometimes seen as a sign of prosperity. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, oats had a rebrand. With the rise of health movements, oatmeal was marketed as a nutritious, wholesome food, something everyone should eat. Companies like Quaker Oats helped drive this shift by mass-producing oats in a way that made them more affordable. As oat processing technology improved, prices dropped, and suddenly, oatmeal went from being a luxury to a household staple. Fast forward to today, and oats are one of the most accessible foods out there. But interestingly, we're seeing another shift. With trends like organic eating, gluten-free diets, and artisanal foods, some oat products, think oat milk or specialty oats, are becoming pricey again. It's like history repeating itself, but this time, the luxury version comes in a fancy carton with a high price tag. One reason oat prices can still fluctuate is global trade. Oats are primarily grown in a few key regions, including Canada, Russia, and parts of Europe. If there's a bad harvest due to weather or supply chain issues, the price of oats can spike. Political factors, tariffs, and transportation costs also play a role in keeping oat prices from being as stable as wheat or rice. Another interesting fact, oats weren't just for people. They were crucial for transportation before automobiles. Horses, which powered everything from farming to warfare, relied on oats for energy. That meant oats were in high demand, especially in the 18th and 19th centuries, which further drove up their price. As reliance on horses declined, so did the demand for large-scale oat production, at least temporarily. Beyond history, oats have science on their side. We now know that oats are packed with fiber, especially beta-glucan, which helps lower cholesterol and regulate blood sugar. This discovery in the late 20th century helped oats regain popularity as a health food, leading to innovations like oat milk and protein-enhanced oatmeal. And once again, high demand for these new oat-based products has driven up prices in some markets. Oats are incredibly versatile, and they're not just for porridge. You can turn them into granola, bake them into bread, or even blend them into oat milk. Oats can also be used as a thickener in soups, added to smoothies for extra fiber, or ground into flour for gluten-free baking. The possibilities are endless. So what's next for oats? With advances in sustainable farming, genetic modification, and alternative proteins, oats might play an even bigger role in future diets. Scientists are exploring ways to make oats even more resilient to climate change, ensuring their affordability for generations to come. Could oats one day be as valuable as they once were? Time will tell. So the next time you make yourself a bowl of oatmeal, remember, you're eating something that was once considered a rare and expensive delicacy. Funny how food history works, right? Prices may fluctuate, trends may come and go, but oats continue to be an essential part of diets around the world. They've fueled ancient warriors, sustained entire civilizations, and even shaped economies. It's amazing how a simple grain can have such a complex past. And who knows? With the rising demand for oat-based products, we might be witnessing yet another shift in the value of oats. Will they remain an affordable staple, or could they become a luxury once again? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, oats have a history as rich as their taste. Let us know in the comments, what's your favorite way to enjoy oats? Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.